Chiefs Kingdom. Okay, this offseason just got emotional and aggressive at the same time. I'm Victor, and I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Kansas City linked to a potential Travis Kelce replacement in a trade, and at the same time hearing serious talk about a Tyreek Hill reunion? That hits different. On one side, ESPN is suggesting the Chiefs could explore a bombshell move for Sam Laporta if Kelce decides to step away. On the other, Tyreek Hill is officially out there after being released, already hinting at a comeback. And people around the league are openly saying a reunion makes sense. That's not random noise, that's direction. This is about replacing a legend, and maybe bringing another one back. Before we break this down, if you're rocking with Chiefs content and you care about where this team is headed, help us hit 1,600 subscribers. We're building this community the right way. Alright, let's talk about what this really means for Kansas City. If you've been following this team like I have, you know this isn't just another random trade rumor floating around in February. This one hits directly at the heart of the franchise, because it involves life after Travis Kelce. ESPN put out a list of top trade candidates around the league, and right there at number 8, Sam Laporta from the Detroit Lions. And what really made this interesting wasn't just Laporta's name. It was the fact that Kansas City was listed as the first potential team fit. That's not by accident. This conversation is happening because of the reality we're all trying not to think about too much. Kelce might retire. The rumors are real. The organization is being cautious. And whether it's this year or next, at some point, the Chiefs are going to have to replace a future Hall of Famer. Now, let's talk about Laporta specifically. As a rookie in 2023, he was electric. 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. He looked like one of the most dynamic young tight ends in football. This past season, different story. Back surgery, 489 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not nearly as explosive, but still talented, still young, still under contract for 1 more year. And here's where it gets interesting. According to Dan Graziano, the Lions have 4 key 2023 draft picks they want to extend. Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, and Brian Branch. That's a lot of money coming due. And around the league, people are wondering whether Detroit can realistically pay all of them. If they can't, someone might become available. Now, ESPN gave it about a 10% chance that Laporta actually gets traded. So let's be clear, this isn't something that's likely tomorrow, but it's not fantasy either. It's the kind of call and ask situation Brett Veach absolutely explores. And honestly, from a Chiefs perspective, it makes strategic sense. Laporta would be 24 years old. Kelce is 36, turning 37. If you believe we're entering a transition phase, especially after missing the playoffs, you can't just wait until Kelce retires and then panic. You have to think ahead. But here's where my fan brain kicks in. Replacing Travis Kelce isn't just about numbers. It's not just about yards and touchdowns. It's leadership, chemistry with Mahomes, the option routes, the trust on 3rd down, the way defenses tilt coverage just because he's on the field. Laporta is talented, no question. But is he ready to step into that kind of role in Kansas City? That's a huge ask. At the same time, what's the alternative? Go into the draft? Hope someone develops? Pray a free agent tight end magically fills that void? The Chiefs just went 6-11. That's not dynasty form. That's not acceptable for this organization. If there's a chance to get younger at a key position without waiting for a bidding war in 2027, you at least explore it. And I keep coming back to this. Kansas City was listed first as a fit. That tells you league analysts see a real need there. We're officially in the era where life after Kelce is a real conversation. And if that wasn't enough to make this offseason emotional, what's happening at wide receiver right now might shake this franchise even more. Because while we're talking about replacing one legend, there's another one who might be looking at Kansas City again. And that conversation? That's a whole different level. Alright, Chiefs Kingdom. Now let's talk about the part that really makes your heart race. And when I saw that Tyreek Hill was officially released by the Dolphins and instantly people started connecting him back to Kansas City, I felt that old electricity again. Because this isn't just some random free agent. This is the last true 1,000-yard receiver this franchise had, and that was in 2021. Let's lay out what actually happened. Miami released Tyreek as part of a cap-clearing move, saving $22.8 million. Just like that, for the first time in a decade, he's an unrestricted free agent. And it didn't take long for the noise to start. Chris Jones went on social media and basically rang the alarm clock emoji, like, it's time! Analysts immediately started saying what a lot of us were already thinking. Not only do the Chiefs need him, he might need the Chiefs. Louis Riddick said it straight up on ESPN. Not only do they need him, he needs them. And that's the part that makes this feel real. Tyreek is 32 next month. He's coming off knee surgery, dislocated knee, torn ACL, serious injury. We don't know if he'll be ready week 1. That's the risk. That's the elephant in the room. But even before the injury last season, he was still accounting for over half of Miami's air yards. The explosiveness? Still there. The deep threat? Still terrifying. And let's be honest, since we traded him in 2022, the offense hasn't felt the same. Yes, we've had good moments. Yes, Rashee Rice has flashed. Xavier Worthy has speed you can't teach. But the consistent vertical fear factor? The defense has to tilt coverage before the snap presence? That's been missing. And when you look at the current receiver room, Rice, Worthy, Jalen Royals, Jason Brownlee, Jimmy Holiday, there's talent, but there's not that proven alpha who changes the geometry of the field every snap. That's what Tyreek was. Now financially, this wouldn't have to be crazy. The report even mentioned the Chiefs could structure something similar to the Juju Smith-Schuster deal from 2022. A 1-year incentive-heavy contract. Low long-term risk. High upside. Let Tyreek prove he's healthy, boost the offense, then revisit things next offseason. And here's what makes this emotional for fans like us. The reunion isn't just football. It's Mahomes. It's Reed. It's possibly Kelce if he comes back. It's the core that defined the dynasty years. Tyrann Mathieu even said it. If Tyreek wants to re-establish himself, find a quarterback and system that appreciates his gifts. There's no better place than Kansas City for that. But let me be real with you, Chiefs Kingdom. This can't just be nostalgia. We can't sign Tyreek because it feels good. This has to be about whether he can still stretch the field, whether the knee holds up, whether he can give you 12-14 games of real impact. If he's 80% of peak Tyreek, that's still better than most receivers in this league. But if the explosiveness is gone, then you're investing emotionally more than strategically. At the same time, we just went 6-11. The offense hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Tyreek left. Mahomes is coming off the most significant injury of his career. This isn't the time to sit back and hope development alone fixes everything. Adding Tyreek would immediately change defensive game plans again. Now here's where this gets bigger. When you zoom out and look at both stories together, the potential move for Sam Laporta as a long-term tight end answer, and the possibility of bringing Tyreek Hill back on a short-term receiver boost, you see something very clear. The Chiefs aren't sitting still. This front office understands we're at a crossroads. Kelce might be nearing the end. The receiver room needs juice. Mahomes is rehabbing. Missing the playoffs isn't acceptable here. So what do? You explore bold options. One move is about the future. The other is about reigniting the present. To me, this feels decisive. Not desperate, decisive. It tells me Brett Veach and Andy Reid know the margin in the AFC is thin. You either reload now, or you risk sliding further behind. And as a fan, I'd rather see them be aggressive. If we're transitioning from one era, let's do it the right way. Plan for life after Kelce. Surround Mahomes with real weapons again. Stop pretending development alone will carry the offense back to dominance. Chiefs Kingdom, this offseason isn't quiet. It's pivotal. And whether it's replacing a legend or reuniting with one, this feels like the kind of turning point that defines the next chapter of Kansas City football. And when you really step back and look at this whole picture, Chiefs Kingdom, this isn't just about one trade idea or one possible reunion. This is about identity. This is about whether the Kansas City Chiefs are going to sit back and slowly drift into transition or aggressively shape the next phase of this franchise. The Laporta conversation tells us the front office understands time doesn't stop. Travis Kelce won't play forever. You either prepare now or you panic later. That's a mature, forward-thinking mindset. The Tyreek Hill situation? That tells us they also know the offense needs life. It needs speed. It needs fear. It needs something that changes the energy in Arrowhead again. Put both together, and you see a team that knows last season wasn't good enough. A team that understands Mahomes can't carry everything alone, especially coming off injury. A team that refuses to accept mediocrity as the new normal. To me, this feels decisive. Not reckless, not desperate, intentional. And as a fan, that gives me hope. Because if we're going to transition out of the Kelce era, let's do it boldly. If we're going to reload around Mahomes, let's actually reload, not just hope. Chiefs Kingdom, this offseason matters. These decisions matter, and the direction they choose is going to define the next 5 years of Kansas City football. Now I want to hear from you. Would you trade for Laporta? Would you bring Tyreek back on a one-year deal? Or do you think we should go younger and build through the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it like real fans. And if you're enjoying this kind of breakdown, real conversation, no hot take nonsense, help us get to 1,600 subscribers. We're building something strong here, and I want you in it from the ground floor.